Okay, welcome back. Let's keep going with this question. This time I have 2 napping kids, so I shouldn't be interrupted by the screaming. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so here we go. We always assume the null hypothesis is true. Now, if the null hypothesis is true, then all of the possible outcomes should follow a normal curve, meaning if I took a sample of 780 people and I found the proportion that used FaceTime, and then I took another one and found the proportion, and I took another, I would expect that most of the time 45% of the sample would use FaceTime. Remember sampling variability. Sometimes you'll end up a little higher, sometimes your sample will be a little lower, but in general, they should all fall somewhere around 45%. Okay? Now, that's what we assume to be true. Now, turns out when we took our sample proportion was 323 out of the 780. And if I grab my calculator real quick, which you should have with you, 323 divided by 780, that's about 41.41%. So let's think about this. If the null hypothesis is true, there is a chance that even if 45% of people use FaceTime, we could go out and get a sample proportion of 41, right? Because you're not always going to get 45%. Sometimes you get more, sometimes you get less. So we got a little less. So the goal is, right now, is assuming the null hypothesis is true, you should be able to find the probability of getting a sample as small or smaller than the one we got. So your goal is to find this area under the normal curve. Can you think about how to do that? I'm going to give you a second. Hopefully you're thinking, oh, I can use a z-score. We've been doing that all year. So if we do a z-score, we know that it's our sample minus the mean over the, what's the standard deviation for sample proportions? Hopefully you're realizing that it's the square root of P, and we use the 0.45 because we're assuming that's true, times 1 minus P over N. Does that look familiar at all? Okay, so now I'm going to leave you today to find the z-score and find the p-value. The p-value is the area under the curve. You should be able to do that. Once you finish this, I want you to think, based on your p-value, do you think that this claim, where'd it go? Having some technical difficulties here. All right. Okay. Just pretend that everything's still there. So based on this p-value that you get, do you think the original claim of 45% is true? Or do you think it's less than 45%? That's what I want you to think about while I figure out what the heck is going on with my iPad now. All right.